5 most recent flash floods 2022 to 2023. Nature is a powerful force, and when it unleashes fury, it can leave behind a trail of devastation. Flash floods are one such manifestation of this fury that can strike without warning, leaving behind a wake of destruction. In this video, we'll take a look at 5 of the most recent flash floods that have occurred around the world. So without further ado, let's begin the countdown. Number 5. Eastern Australia Flood. The 2022 Eastern Australia floods were one of the nation's worst recorded flood disasters, with a series of floods that occurred from February to April in South East Queensland, the Wide Bay Burnett, and parts of coastal New South Wales. The flooding occurred because of a weather system that caused a lot of rain to fall in a short period of time. This weather system was caused by a low-pressure system that formed over Queensland's southern coast. This low-pressure system drew in moisture from the Coral Sea, which is located to the north of Australia. The moisture was then lifted up and fell as rain over the Queensland coastline. This rain caused the rivers to overflow and trigger flash floods in the affected areas. The flood caused the death of around 22 people. Due to severe flooding, all the schools from southeast Queensland and the Wide Bay Burnett were closed. The affected areas were immediately evacuated, and people were advised to not travel unnecessarily. Due to the crisis in the supply chains, food shortages were reported in remote Queensland. Number 4. Petrópolis floods in Brazil. On February 15, 2022, Petrópolis, a city located in the mountains of Rio de Janeiro state, Brazil, was hit by severe floods. The city received an unusually high amount of rain. According to experts, the normal rain expected for February there was 185 millimeters, but the city received 258 millimeters of rain only within 3 hours. The high level of precipitation caused flooding within the city as well as destabilized, causing mudslides. It was the biggest storm in the history of Petrópolis. It took around 231 lives. Videos of the disaster were widely shared on social media, showing cars and houses being dragged by landslides. The damage from the floods and mudslides exceeded 1 billion Brazilian reals, which is equivalent to $193.8 million US. This event is the deadliest flood and mudslide in Petrópolis' history. Number 3. KwaZulu-Natal floods. In April 2022, KwaZulu-Natal, a province in South Africa, experienced some of the worst floods in decades. The floods were caused by heavy rainfall that lasted for several days. In 2022, South Africa experienced a lot of rainfall. In April, a low-pressure area developed near the southeast coast of South Africa and brought heavy rainfall to KwaZulu-Natal. The low-pressure system created intense thunderstorms and warm, moist air from the subtropics toward the coast. The heaviest rainfall in some areas recorded more than 450 millimeters of precipitation, which caused floods. The death toll in these floods is around 435. It caused more than $1.57 billion in infrastructure damage. Number 2. Pakistan floods. From June 14 to October 2022, Pakistan was hit by massive floods. The floods were triggered by heavy monsoon rains that lasted for several days, leading to flash floods and landslides in many parts of the country. According to reports, the death toll is around 1,739. What was the reason behind these severe flash floods? Southern Pakistan has extreme heat waves in May and June, with temperatures reaching up to 50 degrees Celsius in some areas. These heat waves created a thermal low, which is an area of low pressure that forms over a very hot surface. This thermal low sucked in moisture from the Arabian Sea, which led to heavier than usual rainfall in the region. This heavy rainfall caused flooding in some areas of Pakistan, particularly in Sindh province. In addition to this, the heat also caused glacial flooding in the Gilgit-Baltistan region. Number 1. Philippine floods. A series of floods began to severely affect the provinces of Misamis Occidental and Misamis Oriental and some parts of the Visayan Islands in the Philippines, causing the death of around 97 people. The floods were caused by intense rain, which poured down on the central and southern parts of the country. The heavy rains that caused flooding in many parts of the Philippines were caused by a weather system called a shear-line collision. This weather system occurred in the regions of Visayas and Mindanao. which are located in the central and southern parts of the country. The shear line then moved towards the eastern Visayas and Caraga regions in the central and northern parts of the country. Other factors that contributed to the heavy rains were low pressure areas and the northeast monsoon. All these factors combined caused heavy rainfall that led to flooding in many areas of the country. So that brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, then consider pressing the like button. Also share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. We will see you next time.